and welcome your first time Taunton. Does that sound okay? Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, please go wild and crazy with the wonderful Jane Panther!
Hello, hello. So, I'm a one-liner comedian, so we've got some one-liners for you. I've never been on stage before, I'm going to make the most of it. I still do segues though, because, like the segue gives a seamless, natural flow to my sets, but people get confused, they're thinking, what vehicle kind? Neither conversational kind, it's spelled differently, S-E-G-U-E. That's just so you know, because you probably haven't seen before. Speaking of four, commonly known as half of eight. Number segue, done. But if you really look at it, half of eight is actually 3. Someone yelled at me, your days are numbered. I couldn't tell if I was being threatened or explained how a calendar worked. So, people get confused about the segue thing, and I was thinking, what do I have to do? Buy a pocket dictionary and read out the definition on stage. I did buy one. The reason I don't have it with me tonight is that, well, 2 reasons. One, I googled pocket dictionary, but I've ended up buying a mini dictionary. So it's about that big, but that thick. So not very pocket. The second reason, and the main reason really, because that was my fault about the purchase, but it doesn't have the word segue even fucking in it. But it does have words in it, word segue, done. So I've been learning Italian, speak Italian. It's an in-person course, it's all these like online apps, websites, weren't doing it for me. Because it was like being taught by a sat-nav. On your next left, turn Italian. And at worst, it's like being taught by Stephen Hawking. Italiano, blue. No idea what you said. No idea. My friend's kid is learning the alphabet. He's not very good at the moment, but I thought I'd test it and said, hey, what's the first letter of the alphabet? He panicked and went, dunno. Because kids are stupid. Not all kids, but I was definitely one of the stupid ones. Here's an example. A tidal wave, I didn't know it had anything to do with the tide. I was thought we had a big wave, but that's because I wasn't calling them tidal waves. I called them tiger waves, like rah, tiger. Now now you're thinking, Jim, you just misheard someone say it. That's not stupid. And I agree with you. I'm a bit annoyed no one corrected me. But that's not stupid. What is stupid though is believing if I threw rocks into the sea, it'll anger this tiger and he'll make the waves bigger. A tiger wave. I probably said that in school! Tiger wave. Tiger's an animal. Animals say wave. Done. For years, zoologists didn't know the sexual anatomy or even the mating process of a giraffe. Until one day there was a sighting of 2 giraffes potentially doing it. But it was getting dark, it was getting late, dangerous to go out on the savannah at night. But we thought, no, we have to go. Drastic times for giraffic measures. Pot of dolphins in a circle, one in the middle. I think they're playing spin the bottle. I didn't even have to say no dolphin, I'm like, oh, you're right on board with that. On board, boat segue, let's do it. I want to buy my mum a boat. I want to buy my mum a boat. She's always wanted the house to be ship-shaped. Where even were we? What was I talking about? Something about on board. Animal segue, back on track. So birdsong, I think, must have genres, like blues. What else? Got heavy metal. Thing is, it all sounds fucking the same. Even the most hardcore gangster rap about sex, drugs and crime would be... I do actually have a fear of birds. It's irrational because they only pet my face in my dreams. I've had them come down from the sky, I've had them pop off from fences. The first dream I had, it popped out of a red balloon I had bought from an auction, taking place at the back garden of the house we were then living in, and the auctioneer guy was Gordon Ramsay. True dream. True dream. But yes, only in my dreams do they kill me. Speaking of death, one of those banner planes crash landed. The pilot was found dead at the scene. It took hours for the truth to unfold. The suicide note was over 90 feet long and in block capitals. I didn't have such a good birth. 10% survival rate, which isn't good. But it was, well, first off, on this disastrous birth, I came out butt first. There's always someone who giggles. But the main problem was that I wasn't breathing. Didn't know how to breathe. Because kids are stupid. Call back. So yeah, I wasn't breathing. And it was about 4 weeks in an incubator with a ventilator and a big tube down to my lungs. And at this point, the doctor's taking my parents aside and saying, if you don't start breathing by yourself, you're going to have to consider the possibility of brain damage. So far, so good. And then the day after, I'm told, alarms are going off, nurses are running around because I've pulled out that tube, because I'm breathing by myself. To continue showing off, then came the bunting, all the coloured tied together napkins, whatever magician's trick you want to add in for this joke, a saw, I guess it would be a dagger for scale, but you get the point. Right? I mentioned doctors there, Dr. Segue, done. A carpenter went to the doctors. The doctor said we're going to need a stool sample. So the next day, he brought in a nice bit of mahogany. The guy in the bed next to me had Lyme disease. The doctor would come round with the checkboard and all that stuff. And he asked him questions. He goes, oh, that's good. We'll put a tick on. We'll put a yes on that one. You tend to go to doctors if you're injured. Injury segue, done. I didn't know he had both his index fingers amputated until he pointed it out. I was on holiday, sitting under a tree, and a toilet seat fell on my head. Turns out I hosted the toiletries. Just now the obvious check of the time. Time to segue, done. I went back in time to medieval times, and I went up to the soldier at the gate. I said, "On guard!" He said, "Yes, I am." Another time I went back into medieval times was I went up to this knight and I said, "Hey, nice catapult." He said, "It's a trebuchet." I went, "Oh yeah, touche." He went, "No, boucher, trebuchet." We don't have time for anything anymore, do we? We don't have time for the intros on Netflix. We don't even have time for next day delivery or no next day delivery. We don't even have time to make our fives not look like S's. Just me? I do it all the time. Just draw 2 straight lines. And then the curvy bit, 2 straight lines, 90 degrees, 70, I'll take 45, but I can't because it's 4S. Who had work today? Thank you for participating in the job segue. Done! Cheers, can I have a little sippy sip? Drink segue, actually, done. Why not? So I brought everyone round the shops, and they called me a cheapskate. I said, "That's a cheap shop." I said, "Yeah, exactly." Job segue, back on track. I used to work at a nursing home, and I had to report Doris for stealing. Turns out, like prison, snitches get stitches. In this case, it was a cross stitch. I used to work at a crematorium. I got fired because I was broken and bereaved to the crematorium. It was inappropriate, apparently. Child labour problem, short staff. And because kids are stupid. Come back! Oh yes. So the final curtain is nearly on us. The fat lady will soon be singing. Music segue, done. Or should I say, dun, dun, dun. The band was in the studio recording their new album. And the manager came in and said, "This song's too short. It had adverse effects." Thank you. I'll leave you with a bit of a song. It's Ronan Keating. It's now about farts. Just a chorus, just a chorus. A smile on your face, you waited till you were near me. The water's in my eyes as you waft it towards me. I fall to the ground, the smell rises, so I start to crawl. Silent but deadly, and you say nothing at all. Thank you,